From the News Talk STL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. On tonight's episode, dismantling the Department of Education with Quentin Jordan, the wacky world of Jefferson City with Rep. Jamie GRAGG, and the Right Mind Studio Band, Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Showalter.
I tell you what, spring is in the air. See, that was my spring.
I got a little dust in my eyes, too, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel it? I mean, I don't know if it feels like spring yet, but it is spring. Who cares about that, though? Guess what? I watched that Anora movie you told me to watch that won the big Academy Award.
It just went live on Hulu, which means if you have a subscription, you can watch it for free or premium free or whatever. I mean, you pay the monthly money to Disney and Hulu, so yeah.
To all of them, yeah.
I'm so glad you have a Hulu subscription.
Oh, I do.
10th caller, call in right now. We'll give you Todd's login.
Sure, anything you want. But we have the Hulu with, it still has commercials, okay? So the thing about, we watched the Anora thing, okay? Just one step at a time, buddy. I'm doing baby steps. I'll get the no commercial
Once the show starts making money, we can get premium Hulu.
Right. If we only had a sponsor, maybe I could afford it. But see, I got confused because it was the Anora movie, okay? And it was about prostitutes and nudity and jumping around saying the F word. And then all of a sudden a Schnucks commercial would pop in. And I didn't know if that was part of the film or if it was a commercial. So I got all confused why there were hookers at Schnucks saying the F word.
It's your hometown store right there, Schnucks. Oh, boy, I love them. You know, it really bums me out, watching the movie subscription services with ads. Because what they do when I'm trying to cry during the credits, they just shrink the credits up and then start playing the next thing. Like, no, let me sit with this movie here.
Right.
Why are you going to autoplay some crap I don't care about, Mr. Netflix?
It doesn't make sense. But, you know, I did come up with I noticed something. I don't know if I should really go into this because I was told by my wife, who I'm not allowed to bring up on the show, she said, whatever you do, please don't bring this up. But I have a theory. I guess that's what I'm talking about. If you want to win the Academy Award, there are certain things, which has gotten really woke and stupid, okay? But if you want to win the Academy Award, there are certain things that you need to do. And I noticed this. Are you ready for these little nuggets?
Mm-hmm. Okay, drop a nug on me.
Okay, well, one, you either got to portray somebody that's famous, okay? That's a good one. Or you portray someone with a disability, okay, that shows, I've got acting range. I'm disabled, okay. A musical, that's always good, okay. I mean, possibly. I mean, whatever. So I had this idea, and I'm going to do it because you know I am an auteur. I am a thespian myself, but I am writing for myself. Oh, here's another one too. If you play the opposite sex, okay, like in the other show, what was the other one that was up for the Academy Award?
Tootsie?
No, she was.
I am right. Even though you're saying I'm wrong, Tootsie is an answer.
Another one I just saw, the one with the guy who's also a girl that he was up for the Academy Award. Where am I going? I saw
Amelia Perez.
Amelia Perez. Yeah. Okay. So you're either famous, you have a disability, maybe a musical, and you're a guy who's also a woman. So here's my idea. Are you ready for this, my friend? Mm-hmm. Because I think a year from now, we're going to be sitting here looking at my Oscar, and I mean the statue Oscar. Okay. I'm going to do, my own version. It's going to be a musical version of Helen Keller, where it's starring me, and I'm not supposed to talk about this, but look, she's famous, she's disabled, I can make her sing, and it would be me portraying a woman. It's like, it's better than the trifecta. It's the quadfecta. It has everything you need for an Academy Award. What do you think?
Now, what did Helen Keller do? Wasn't the teacher the one who really did all the hard work?
I don't know.
Helen Keller was just deaf, dumb, and blind?
That Annie Sullivan, who was her sidekick, which, by the way,
superhero movie, box office
who's my
success.
partner right now? Mm-hmm. You. So you can be Annie Sullivan, who's a woman. Okay. I see Best Supporting Actor or Actress for you, my friend.
Category fraud. You'll be actor, I'll be actress, and then
whatever.
We'll switch whenever we want.
Who cares? But and we make it a musical. Okay, so Helen Keller, who's famous, who's me now, who's a woman, who has a disability, with her sidekick, who's a guy who's also a woman. See, there is no way that we can lose, do you think?
I was thinking people who go see Oscar movies aren't kids, though, and that's where the money's at. We need to incorporate some sort of child-friendly thing in this, and it could be that Helen Keller's a puppet. And then Annie Sullivan puts her hand up there and makes her talk.
I love it. Okay, like a Muppet.
A Muppet musical?
So we have a Muppet Helen Keller musical. This is going to be big, and maybe a little CGI, special effects, so we can win all those categories, too, with a wonderful musical score. Here, I'm going to sing like Helen Keller, right? No, I'm not going to do that, because I'm going to save it for the film.
And most idiots, me included when I was a baby, thought that Helen Keller was Anne Frank. So maybe we could set this during World War II, because people love Nazi movies.
Period film.
The Brutalist, that was a big Nazi-type film as well, so yeah.
I didn't see that one. Is that on Hulu?
That one is 3.5 hours long, and it's about a guy who just got out of the concentration camp and then went on to make a big deal in his life.
Okay. All right. I missed that one. That must have come
World
on
War
right
II
after.
adjacent.
Okay. Well, what do you think of this? Isn't this a great idea?
I love that you and the wife watched Anora, and now you're just inspired to make the greatest Oscar film of all time.
We are, as a matter of fact, and it's going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger than Anora. But you just said that we have to do something for the kids. Now, this film, and I don't want to make it all about the film because I want people to go out and watch it on Hulu. And they'll also want to go shop at Schnucks because there's a lot of Schnucks commercials. But how is that for kids? Because every other word was the F word.
Mm-hmm. You know, it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. Schnucks being in a prostitute stripper movie, they are considered the friendliest stores in town.
Yeah, that's real friendly, isn't it?
Friendly.
Wow. Come into our bakery section and have a lap dance.
Oh, do you need some prophylactics? They're locked up. We're going to call somebody and page over the entire intercom system to come and embarrass you.
Speaking of that, wow, you just led me down a whole nother road. You know what? I was at the old Wal-Mart not too long ago. I love going to Wal-Mart, not if I need something, but just I love the people watching. But
I love Wally World. Yeah, even when the moose out front tells you it's closed, I'm still
sorry, kids. Wally World's closed.
I'm coming tomorrow, Wally.
But did you know at Walmart? Now here, I had to go get some hairspray, some Aquanet for the. I don't.
That's usually a Sam's Club purchase for you in bulk, but yeah,
I usually get it by the tub. Okay, and that along with some mousse. Okay, which I thought was something that you ate, but you put it in your hair. But you can actually do both. Anyway,
mousse
don't distract me from this wonderful nugget.
Party in the back.
I am going into Walmart to get my Aquanet. That's not really Aquanet. And guess what? Right next to the hairspray. This is true. They have a glass cabinet all locked up. You have to get one of the nutty Walmart people to open it. And I thought, what the heck is in here? Do you know Walmart has sex toys?
Of course I know Walmart has sex toys.
I didn't know that. I called my wife over, and she's dabbling in the mascara section. I go, put that away. Check this out. We could get a butt tickler at the Walmart.
It is the most miserable place on earth to work, so they have to let the employees use something during their breaks to cheer them up.
And it took, by the time, here's the thing though, at nobody wants to work there apparently, because I said, hey, can I show my wife the butt tickler? And this person must have taken 3 days to get she was only about 12 feet away. Saunters over and has to unlock it so I could get the butt tickler out. And by the time she finally got it out, I didn't feel like having my butt tickled anymore.
Now, are these brand new, you think? Or if someone returns them, they put them back on the shelf?
Well, I did.
You got to open up the box to see.
That's a good point. I wonder if they're cheaper. I'll have to check at the thrift store. Maybe they have used butt ticklers from Walmart at the thrift store for half off. And then you're also doing a charitable deed because you're donating to charity at the thrift store and you get your butt tickled.
Of course. That's why I go to the religious ones specifically, like St. Vincent de Paul. You're helping out the Pope and
that's
all
right.
that.
We help out the Pope like the person that was on our show last night. Hey, wait, I got to do this really quick, okay? Hey, I'm putting it on my head. You know what that is?
Was that a pony you bought?
No, that was my pony Leprechaun. I didn't get to do it.
Oh.
Last week was It did sound like a pony though.
Little Leprechaun Day.
It's a horse. It's a horse leprechaun. That was my St. Patrick's Day leprechaun sound.
Stan, the little man, must have been so busy that day.
I'm not.
Couldn't get him on the phone for a birthday surprise if your life depended on it.
I won't tell you what happened. You know what happened with Stan the Little Man?
And he's a side character on the show. If you haven't heard Stan the Little Man till now, please go back and listen to the great archive we have up at anchor.fm/rightmindshow.
Yeah. He's a midget. Stan the Little Man is a midget, and you can basically hire him out for $200. He'll do anything you want. And so Blake brought his new girlfriend in last weekend, and I was going to make a big celebratory to-do with balloons and everything. I invite Stan the Little Man, okay, ready to pay him his $200. He, again, doesn't show up for this soiree that I put together. So you know what I had to tell her? I said, I'm sorry, Stan the Little Man fell in a pothole and he can't get out. And she didn't know what in the hell I was talking about. Blake did.
Not a listener of the show, and obviously she's not going to be a wife to your son. She didn't make the cut.
Well, and she's a very nice girl. Her name's Abby, and she was very nice. But
different race from the last girlfriend. Okay.
Well, see, that's just okay. His last girlfriend was Asian. Mm-hmm. Okay,
still Asian.
She's still Asian. She's just not Asian with him. Mm-hmm. She's aging with him, or Asian.
She's Asian elsewhere.
So this one, I think she's American.
Not Irish. If she doesn't know the traditions of St. Patrick's Day, like putting a leprechaun in a pothole.
Well, he fell in a pothole, and that leads me to this. The potholes in downtown. I'm just all over the board. You're just leading me down this winding road of confusion. The potholes in downtown St. Louis remain. So guess what?
New mayor.
The mayors, but they're debating now. And you brought it up. They've been on Channel 2.
They were on Channel 2 on Monday.
They were on Channel 4.
Channel 4 on Tuesday.
Channel 5.
Channel 5 on Wednesday.
Where have they not been?
101.9. We'll get there eventually.
Oh, yes.
The election's on April 8th. I don't know how many days are left.
Well, I think there's plenty of time, and I think you and I would make the perfect moderators. I do, my friend. And okay, get this, okay, because they're all asking him about this economy stuff. Yeah, this is what I'd ask them. I'd get them both cornered, okay, and I'd say, and I'd look at my notes, and flip through them, and I'd say, you see a dead body laying in the middle of the street of downtown St. Louis like on a typical day. Do you use the Rams' money to clean it up or just leave it there? Now, you be one of the mayor people. Go ahead.
I think since my name is Tashara Jones, I would start a commission to see if dead bodies should be cleaned up, and then I can give some of the Rams money to all these people that I know, like my dad Vervis, and then we'll decide if dead bodies should stay or remain.
And I'll be Kara. Okay, you ready for this? I'm giddy. I don't think so. I'm from Soulard, and I say we make it into like a parade float for our Mardi Gras parade.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So she wins. She wins.
Something you need to do is to test whether the future mayor, Kara Spencer, or the current mayor, Tashara Jones, if they can handle being under pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And you will do this for sure if you were moderator. Call them by the wrong name.
Oh, let's do it.
So, excuse me, Tashwana? Oh, and see if she gets mad.
I thought that was her name. I was, and seriously, people say, "Are you just trying to be silly? Are you trying to be racist or something?" No, I thought her name was Tishwana.
All right, this question's for Karen with the short hair. No.
Yes.
It's Kara and Tashara.
Well, that's just it. We were watching part of it. My wife says, "Well, I can't bring it up on the show," and I've done it twice now. She says, "Do you think her hair is cute?" I don't look at people's hair and say, "Is that cute?"
Cute enough for a mayor?
Is that cute? Yeah. I mean, what do you mean? Is it cute? And then I had to look at Tishwana's hair, and I go, "Do you think her hair is cute?" Not as cute as the other ones. So you vote for a person based on their hairstyle? Because with my mullet, maybe that could be my whole thing in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could definitely be mayor of St. Louis.
I think I could.
It's
Why not?
weird. Mayor is a type of horse.
Yeah.
And I do believe black women in general like to use hair extensions.
Yeah.
And if they're rich, they get Asian hair. But if you're poor, you end up with horse hair. I wonder if Tashara uses horse hair for her extensions while she's mayor.
That would have been my next moderator question. If you were going to get hair extensions, Kara or Tishwana, would you kill a horse for your hair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and now you get PETA involved and everybody's all upset. We forget about the potholes. Wow. But hey, in the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, dismantling the Department of Education with Quentin Jordan. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who flunked his senior year so hard, they sent him all the way back to first grade, Todd Showalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter along with my buddy Joe A.V. on The Right Mind Show. And on the line now is Quenton Jordan. Among other things, you're the chairman of the Black Conservative Federation, and you also have an Instagram channel that my wife actually introduced me to because you have a lot of interesting things. One of the things that caught my eye was your recent post about why the Department of Education really isn't needed and why it should possibly go away, because I think as of today, till we record on Thursday, it's gone. So what are your thoughts on that? And introduce yourself, Quenton.
Hey, Todd. Again, thanks for having me. Like you mentioned, I serve as the chairman for the Black Conservative Federation, which is a grassroots engagement organization that's based out of D.C., but active right now in about 30 states. And what we do is work with politicians, business leaders, community leaders to help push policy, help get the right people elected, and like you said, educate people on issues like the Department of Education. Which, I'm a product of. I grew up in Chicago public schools. My family's done the same. And the problems that I listed out in the video have been pretty persistent. I think the biggest one being the students are falling far behind as it relates to test scores in both reading and math, which are critical to any form of success in this country or any other country on the planet. And the Department of Education just doesn't seem to have modern solutions for getting our next generation of students into success.
Yeah,
so that's the gist of it.
Yeah, you brought up on your video, which I agreed with. Now, this for those that don't know, I mean, the Department of Education doesn't go back, centuries. It was created during the Carter administration, and it did have good intentions. But as you point out in your video, it didn't really. It's not all it's cracked up to be, and it's falling a little short, if not a lot short. Why don't you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so essentially, the Department of Education was never intended to be in the business of setting curriculum, right? It was supposed to help with establishing funding for schools. It was supposed to help ensure that, schools are following the law in terms of discrimination and things of that sort. But it got a little bit tricky when it came down to the funding, because what the Department of Education did was say, hey, if you're a school district or if you're a state that needs federal funding, here's some guidelines that you have to follow in terms of the curriculum that we want the students to abide by. Mm-hmm. And so it set what I like to call a one-size-fits-all learning model, meaning that if you come from a high net worth family somewhere in California, you're essentially getting the same curriculum and teaching methods as somebody who's in the middle of Alabama, whose family may be below the poverty line. And we know that those types of things impact how students learn. And so that's why you start to see a lot of test scores just falling behind. Standardized testing has done wonders, not in a good way, to the students in this country, even when I was in school, because it measures everybody as if they have the same socioeconomic background, the same capacity to learn at the same rate as other students. And we know that that's just not the case, right? Some students learn better in the classroom, other students learn better, hands-on. Learning things, whether it's like vocational studies or things of the sort. And so they've gotten a little too big in terms of the scope of the Department of Education. And I think what we're seeing now from this new administration is the right idea. Let's remove some of those responsibilities, give them to other departments that are more equipped to handle them, and let's get education back to the states.
Yeah, one of the things that we've had other people on the show that I find interesting too is, I could see if there are certain academic standards that, they wanted to achieve. I mean, that makes sense. But we're in Missouri. I'm in St. Louis. One of the things that we've been hearing here is like if you're an organization, if you're a school district here in Missouri, and say you wanted to take federal funds, there were strings attached, which makes sense. But a lot of them were. They weren't academic related. It was basically, you've got to follow our program, otherwise you can't have our money. And people would the districts rather would do it. And that's why you have a lot of the turmoil that's going on within the districts, because they feel like they're stuck. Now, by taking that away, was that always part of the Department of Education as far as bringing in social issues and things like that along with the academic ones?
I don't think it was intended to do that. But like you said, as the social issues of the day have changed, so have the people in office and the people in those administrations. And right now we have people in leadership, specifically within the Department of Education, who are more focused on social issues than they are on educating our students, right? Our students should be focused on learning about what's going on in the world as it relates to education, as it relates to technology and those things. But right now what we see is that most of the conversation is about what's happening inside of things like locker rooms. That's just, it doesn't work. And that's what we're seeing from this new administration.
Why do you think? I mean, what do you think? When do you think this all began? I mean, if it started with good intentions, back with Carter, back in the 70s, what made things go astray, in your opinion?
Again, I think it just naturally progressed as social issues started to move a bit more to the left, right? Yeah. I don't want to make this seem as if it's only a left issue because the Department of Education is across all of them. But I think you can clearly point to that correlation is, as social issues started to move more towards the left, education became less of a priority and it became more about indoctrination, right? Getting children to follow the latest social trends of the day versus getting them to understand what the technology of the future is going to be. Right. So I think there's a pretty strict correlation there. I can't pinpoint when exactly it started, but I know when I was in school, we didn't have discussions on whether or not boys can be girls and things of that sort. And so it had to happen after that.
Yeah. I mean, it seems, as you said, I don't know the exact date, but it seems more in recent times than in past. One of the things I found very interesting that I really relate to in your video, and again, we'll let people know how to follow you. You brought up about the colleges and why colleges have become so unaffordable, which they are. I have kids, in college, and I remember when I went to college, it was. They cost money, but it was nothing like it is today. And you think the reason things have gotten so out of hand as far as the cost of college right now has to do with the Department of Education in some ways. Why don't you explain that?
Yes, so federal funding is largely tied to the Department of Education as it relates to colleges because they manage and oversee the scholarships that they give out, whether it's, Pell Grants and things of that sort. And that's tied directly to the cost of college, right? So if a college knows that, hey, the Department of Education is going to extend the $30,000 or $40,000 loan per semester to the student, I don't have any issues with raising that price because I know that it's almost guaranteed. So what the Department of Education has done is pretty much worked lockstep with these colleges to boost tuition costs, right? And we've seen, I don't want to say a 400 to 500% increase in the cost of tuition in an extremely short amount of time. If anybody else's investment went up that great, it'd be world news, right? But nobody's talking about it when it's, a cost to American taxpayers. And so, again, what we're seeing, and I think we just had one real life scenario with Harvard earlier this week or last week where the federal government said, hey, we're not going to continue funding these programs. I think this one's specific to DEI. But what it did was, now that the federal government is saying we're not giving you additional money, Harvard magically came out and said, you know what, for any student whose family earns less than $200,000, tuition is going to be free. And what I said in my video was that the moment that the federal government says we're not going to continue throwing endless dollars at this issue, colleges are going to have to lower tuition. And that's exactly what we saw in this Harvard scenario. And again, it pretty much happened overnight. And so I think we'll see more of that coming from other institutions because they're going to have to remain competitive. They're going to have to ensure that students are able to afford college. And if they don't, they'll lose out to other schools that do.
Yeah, it almost goes back to the economy with inflation. I mean, you keep dumping money into it. I mean, the prices are going to go up. As far as what you're seeing right now, I mean, is that something you mentioned Harvard? But as of today, again, this is Thursday when we're taping. The show will air on Saturday and Sundays. So by the time this actually airs, maybe the Department of Education will be gone. What do you think if it is gone? What do you think the timeline? And again, this is just your opinion. What do you think the timeline will be till we start seeing these changes that that are going to occur, because I know a lot of people in the education sector that are really up in arms about this. Oh, it's overreach. They shouldn't be doing this. But I think if some of the things fall into place like you're saying, then, it'll be eye-opening. Do you think this is going to be a quick transition?
I do think it'll be a quick transition. I don't want to confuse people and think that federal funding for schools will stop all across the board. I do think that it will be a slowdown with the intention of cutting those costs. And I think that schools will move pretty rapidly, right? Because believe it or not, colleges compete against one another. So if I'm an Ivy League school or even a top, 25 school in the nation, and I see Harvard make this move, I know that if I want to continue to compete with Harvard, I'm going to have to do something similar. So I think that effect will cause schools to move more rapidly than getting rid of the Department of Education. And so I think we're on the brink of seeing a tremendous reduction in the cost of colleges across the country, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I find it hard. I mean, whenever I get pushback and I see other sides and things like that, like the far left still up in arms and screaming about things. I've said before on other shows that I have a hard time even communicating with them anymore, just because a lot of them just don't use logic and common sense. But from your standpoint, if you had to explain why the direction we're moving in is good, like I try to do, I mean, do you have any methods that you try to take in trying to get through to these people that just don't seem to get it?
Yeah, so our go-to at our federation is engage without enraging. And so if you see somebody who's just looking for an argument, not looking for a solution, that's the conversation I would typically walk away from.
Right.
But we lead with questions, right? We don't show up expecting to know the answers to people's problems when we haven't even heard their problems. Right? That's the tactic that you see on the basketball far too often. But we try not to do that. We try to come in, ask people what it is that they care about, and then provide them solutions from a conservative perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, I mean, your videos are great. I just started to get involved with them. How can people get in touch with you, and what is the best way to follow you on social media?
Yeah. So the best way to follow me on social media, I'm pretty sure my handle is the same across platforms. It's Quenton, QUENTON _J. Or if you just search Quenton Jordan on Google, I'm sure most of my links will pop up, including the link to our organization's website, which is bcfaction.com. So looking forward to connecting with more people. Hopefully I get a ton of people reaching out to me from this episode. And yeah, I'm excited for what's to come.
Great. Well, we are too. And I hope you'll come back and talk to us again soon. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And until next time, have a great day and good luck with everything. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, what do you think of that, Joey? I mean, seriously, you talk about, the stuff with the Department of Education, and you've got different groups that typically you wouldn't think would get involved in this type of thing, but you see it happening. And what I mean by that, it's not just Trump saying, we're just going to get rid of this. There are reasons to do it. So I'm going to go pick your brain now and see what do you think about getting rid of the Department of Education? Do you think it's a big thing, or do you think we ought to get rid of schools altogether?
I'm not really smart enough to answer that question. I blame that on the Hazelwood School District, specifically here in St. Louis, for making me not too smart there now, hey.
Okay. Yeah,
but something I did notice was that I think our good friend Quenton Jordan was in a cafeteria during that entire interview, and I kept hearing microwaves going off, and you know what that means? All Quentons that are in any place in the world are always cooking something nice.
I cannot believe that you brought that up.
Larry Connors is...
I'm making the soup.
He works here at News Talk STL. Yeah. His producer, Quenton. Oh, man, he is a master with a pizza oven. He can make anything in a pizza oven.
He is like the MacGyver of chefs. I'm not kidding you. Remember? Do you remember the day, I think it was about a month or so ago, here at the studio, there's like a little oven. It's like a little pizza toaster oven thing. It looks like something you make a bagel in or something like that. But Quenton, this guy, he is the MacGyver of chefs. He was making Cornish hens, baked potatoes, and I think some roasted asparagus, all in this tiny little pizza toaster oven. I say, Quentin, how do you do it? He says, oh, stop, you're embarrassing me. I say, you shouldn't be embarrassed. You should have your own place at the food court by Coach Tom's daughter-in-law.
And it seems like he's got to be good at math, too, because he whips out all the HelloFresh ingredients that are delivered to him, but everything in there is for conventional oven. How does he convert conventional oven math to pizza toaster bagel oven math?
I think it's all AI.
He must have gone to a good school, a more gooder school than us.
No, I probably the goodest school. Better than Hazelwood, do you think? Oh, boy, did we get some feedback about last week's show. Apparently, we had potty mouths. Did you get anything about that?
No, I would never receive anything about that. I know we had potty mouths, but I know.
We do, but somebody pointed it out. And I said, yay, you noticed. That's what I said. Yeah, Well, maybe, you know what we can do later on? We can ask when Jamie Gregg comes on. Jamie Gregg, our state rep, who's not even from our area, but we just love to have him on because he's so dang funny. Maybe we can ask him about potty mouths.
What's the official state cuss word of Missouri? You got a bird, you got a rock, you got a fossil, you got a flag, an official song. There's got to be a potty word.
I bet you it's the FMO word.
The Mo-effers?
The Mo-effers. I love it. You've done it again. Well, hey, when we come back, we will be talking to him, and gosh knows about what, or God knows about what. What did I mean to say? Doesn't matter.
How edgy are we supposed to be? And if it's on Sunday, then yes, you can say God knows.
Well, we're still on the air. When we come back, we will be talking to State Rep Jamie Gregg and some of the neat stuff he's up to or not up to. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey B. Mitch in the background, doing absolutely nothing. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, the wacky world of Jeff City with Rep Jamie Gregg. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a dude who's such a good fisherman, whenever he's at the Lake of the Ozarks, everyone calls him Jason Bateman. Todd Showalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. And on the line now is the funniest state rep in Missouri, Jamie Gregg. How's it going, buddy?
It is a bit blustery down here in Ozarks. It is windy.
Oh, so that's right. You're in the Ozarks, aren't you? Are you on the lake?
We're down here.
Yeah. Are you on the lake?
Well, it's kind of funny. When I tell people I'm from Ozark, they were like, oh, by the lake? No. The county? No. We got the county, the lake, and the city are nowhere near each other. Ozark, Missouri is just south of Springfield, north of Branson.
I know. I knew that. I was just testing you. I was testing you.
I know where I'm at.
Yeah, I always get that, too. It's like, because I tell people, that I'm in New York City, and they say, really? Okay, by the Statue of Liberty? I go, no, I'm by the Arch. They go, what?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. What? How far along are we into the session here in Jeff City? Because I was there, and I'm sorry that I missed you back on January 13th, because you cordially invited me to come say hi after the fact, but you didn't know I was there. What is actually, has anything exciting happened, or is it actually just kind of boring and everybody's wasting their time?
Oh, it is far from boring. In fact, we are one day beyond the midpoint right now. We're on spring break right now. Spring break happens at the midpoint, and with yesterday being hump day, we are one day beyond the halfway point. And this is probably the most needed week of all when it comes to the legislature, because when it comes to those 2 weeks before spring break, everybody is tense, they're wound up, they're on edge, because they want to get their bills by the midpoint, at least on the calendar for the floor. And everybody's they're so wrapped up in their own legislation, they're so stressed out. So when spring break happens, we come back after spring break, and everybody was like, "Okay, I needed that," and everybody gets along again.
Do you guys all go to Lauderdale, or what do you do, or just like
we all go our separate ways?
Okay.
I am. Yep. Nope. We are all on. So we're doing our separate thing. I am down in Ozark doing yard work. If the wind would stop, I would
terrible?
burn some branches and things like that, but I can't do it. So
yeah, well, that would get you in the news. Yeah. I mean, and that maybe your bill would get passed. Well, what bills are really hot right now that are trying to make it through?
Mine, I've got some really good things going on. I've finally got my fathership, my fathership initiative filed. It's a bill that I've been really excited about for the last 3 years now. Mm-hmm. See, the state of Florida, they adopted this. They had it drafted. They adopted it. Unanimous in the House, unanimous in the Senate. The governor was like, "Bring it on! I'm ready to sign it. My pen's ready to go." Mm-hmm. It's an initiative to get dads back in front of their kids, because right now we have an epidemic in our nation, not just our state, that we don't have dads being dads. We've got a fatherless epidemic. If you look at all the statistics, you've got teen pregnancies, teen dropouts, suicide rates, drug abuse rates, suicide rates, all this. What's the common denominator? No dad during the childhood. Mm-hmm. And that has to, we've got to target that and attack it and do what we can. And I'm a firm believer that if we can, and I know the state can't fix everything, but if we can at least lend ourselves to fixing that, I believe you'll see all those other statistics that I round off and then some will start dropping little by little. If we can get dads being dads, boom. It can only be a good thing.
Go ahead.
And so I've got that in committee. It'll be voted out next week. Knock on wood, fingers crossed. Give me a couple of prayers if you don't mind on that bill.
Sure.
First time it's gone through, so I've got that. As we have spoken on before, I have submitted my bill for last year was 2885. This year, it's making sure that social transitioning is not promoted in schools.
Right. Yeah.
So got that. It's only been filed, hasn't even been referred to committee or anything like that. Let's see here. Another one is, and you probably heard about this one. Our teachers have come to me and they are talking about how there's a big problem with cell phones in the schools. They want the cell phones out of the hands of the kids so they actually pay attention during instructional time. Yeah. So I've got that filed. It has gone through committee. It's gone through rules. It is ready to go on the calendar for the floor. And the bill is strictly just that school districts, school boards make a policy. You make it. We're not the state is not going to overreach and tell you what to do, but the schools make your policy. The only thing we ask is that it's not during instructional time. Yeah, define that how you want to.
Well, it makes common sense too. I mean, there's certain things that it goes along with dress codes and just proper etiquette. I mean, certain things that get pushback. I mean, you don't have your phone in school. I mean, that you just don't. You shouldn't have it when you're in the middle of working either. But I mean, certain things just the fact that you even have to legislate those doesn't make sense. Let's go back though to the dad issue. That kind of has me interested. Sure. What would that actually entail? Say it goes all the way through it and passes. What would that mean? What would that do?
Sure. What that would look like is in the state of Florida, I took their model, ran with it. How they've got it set up is there will be a line item created in the budget. This is the downside to getting things done. Unfortunately, it does take money sometimes. Mm-hmm. There will be a line item created in the budget, and dollars will be put into that. And they can be put in various ways. Grants, donations, the state can actually appropriate if they wanted to. It's open. So dollars can go in there. So once you've got the dollars in that line item, nonprofits and organizations across the state who work to put dads back in place can apply to some of those grant dollars. Okay. Once they have those dollars have to be used to hire, train, and facilitate fathership engagement professionals. That's like a one-on-one caseworker to a dad who is referred to their program. And that caseworker, that fathership engagement professional, will work with that dad, make a one-on-one program just for that dad to maneuver the roadblocks and the barriers that are keeping him from being dad to his kids. Okay. Whether that be he's got an anger problem, or he just doesn't have a good enough job to be able to support a household where his kids can come and thrive. Mm-hmm. Maybe he needs to... Excuse me.
Sure.
also allergy season.
Oh, I got you.
Or it could be that he needs to get in a better living environment. Whatever the roadblocks are, every dad has got a unique situation. So they're there to help dad get there. They're not there to pay for dad to get there, but help him get to that point, because the problem with dads is that's such a big stressor when their families are torn apart, kids are ripped from them. Dads, people I'm a firm believer that male or female this would happen to. They kind of shut down.
Yeah.
And that's why we have dads that just kind of fade away.
Right.
Well, we need to help them. Dads don't have anybody to help them maneuver those danger spots, those roadblocks. So this would be a program to help dad be dad.
Right. So this is basically, but this is you're talking about broken homes. I mean, divorced couples and things like that. I mean,
Correct.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, sure. And one of the things I don't think people understand, and you probably know him, I believe his name is Mark Ludwig. He was
Mark has been great with me. He's walked side by side with me on this.
Okay, well, he brought to my attention to just some of the things. And a lot of people don't realize it. Mark brought it to the forefront with me that a lot of times, I mean, things are weighted in the mother's favor. And I don't know his total story, so I don't want to speak for him, but he's had a hard time, and and he's a very smart, regular guy. He's not like, some of these people that have had lots of problems, having as much equal time with his child as the mother did. And it's been a real fight for him. So what you're going to do is go in there and give the fathers more access to their kids. Is that pretty much the gist of it?
Correct, because what you've got is, and Mark is absolutely positively right, it is weighted. We are getting better about it in the state of Missouri, but we're not there. So what happens is you have mom and dad, they don't get along, they separate, they divorce, and it's just the human nature, unfortunately. Dad doesn't step up. He's stressed. He tends to fade away. Mom then starts to, pull back, and she's in control. She's got the children. So the rules are made by mom. Dad doesn't get what he needs. He fades away even more. It's a vicious cycle. Mm-hmm. This is to train dads, because I hate to admit it, boys are not trained to be dads.
Right.
We're just not. We have a generation where guys don't know how to be dads.
Yeah.
So this will do that. It'll empower dad. It'll train dad. It'll get dad so that if mom is even a roadblock, it'll work with mom to get mom to a place where she will let dad be dad. It's very multifaceted in this. So it will help people like Mark.
Well, some of the things that we talked about when I got in touch with you beforehand, you said that, Jeff City is also a really funny place. Actually, you didn't say that at all. I said it, but I'm just kind of putting you on the spot. So, Jimmy, I want you to let me know, can we go behind the scenes a little bit? Because everybody knows how official everything is in Jeff City, and, we got to be, serious and whatnot. But is there anything wacky and funny that you want to share with us on the Jeff City side?
Wow, wacky and funny.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of thing. I mean, do you guys pull pranks on each other, do anything, like I would do?
I would as well. We do have a very eclectic group of people that work in Jefferson City. Yeah. The house, they're starting to come into their own finally. We've got people that are hilarious in their own right and finally are coming together now. We have two guys. They come from the farthest reaches of the state. You've got Representative Jeff Farnan, who has District 1 up there in the north west corner of the state. The guy stands like 12'3". And the guy's he's huge tall. I don't know how tall. He's like 7 foot. He's a really tall guy.
Wow.
His best friend in the House is Representative Donnie Brown, who has the bottom of the boot heel, and they are the two tallest guys in the House right now.
Wow.
Best of friends. They hang out. They don't look down on each other, only everybody else. But they just put together. They really are. They're great guys. Yeah. I sit next to Donnie Brown on the floor. He's a great guy. Jeff Farnan, good friend. But they have just started a podcast. They've only had one episode so far. And what they're going to be doing is pulling people in to the representatives and interview them on their personal basis to find out who are you? And they're going to be doing like a two truths and a lie type of thing, just to kind of break the ice, get the humor going, and learn about people. That is actually going to be something I think is going to be very fun. They've asked me to be on, and I said, guys, I'll do it, but I'm not going to be your first guinea pig.
Really?
So yeah, I didn't want to be the breakout person. So they've had Representative Tara Peters on there. A fantastic job. These guys are great. That is going to be probably one of the best things come out of this year when it comes to getting to know who we are, the lightening things up, getting the ties off. Yeah. I think it's going to be great. I really do.
Do you think it's going to be better than our show?
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
No.
I was got to clarify.
Gosh, no.
Oh, okay. I was just, because I was starting to get a little uncomfortable. But no,
I
I'm
would
kidding.
never.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, I bring it up because you're a funny guy. I mean, people think, oh, it's all business in Jeff City, but your Facebook page. I don't just hand out those laugh emoji things, but I've given you several, and a lot of times, you've got to earn those, and you earn them because people don't realize that you're a funny guy. Do you think people realize how funny you are? I don't mean funny in the way like this isn't like Goodfellas. I mean, but you're just funny like in a joking type of way.
I tend to not take life very seriously. We have to take life seriously, of course, but there is lightness, there is humor in everything. There really is, because if we don't try to find ways to lighten it, to not let the entire world be doom and gloom all the time, we're gonna have a short life.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. So yeah, there's always a light side of everything, and I try to find that in everything. My goal in life is to make people smile. That is it. And whatever I do, that's it.
See, and that's what I tell people all the time. I mean, that's what they say, like, why in the heck did you do that? And I was just trying to make somebody smile. They said, but look at the mess you made. And I won't go into specifics. Joey wants to ask you a question. He's got his hand up back here. He's in the back of the classroom. Put that down first. Okay, go ahead, Joey. Ask your question.
Hey there, Rep. Jamie Gregg. You are so nice coming on the show for, I think, was it your third time now?
He's a regular. He has theme music, I believe.
Like that, yeah.
Do you have theme music?
Really?
I'm still working on it. But I
like Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
I like that.
Of course. Yeah. Now, this is our own two truths and a lie, just for people who are in the Capitol a lot. Which bust in the Hall of Famous Missourians do you rub for good luck? I'm thinking Bob Barker, because he is the luckiest guy alive. And Todd, who did you think? Was it Stan Musial? Is that what you were saying?
Well, my wife, she had to get her picture taken next to Rush because
Limbaugh.
She said he's way better than. She said he's way better than you. Why? And she said that. But enough about me. Go back to your question.
So, which Hall of Famous Missourian statue do you rub for good luck?
Yeah,
Bob Barker would be a good one. He is a Southwest Missourian. Literally, I can get to his house he grew up in, or that he lived in probably 15 minutes from my house.
Like legally, like break in, or like you mean? Like,
no, well, to the property. I'll say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rush would be another good one. A lot of good ones. I would say Emmett Kelly.
Oh, the clown.
Emmett Kelly.
Yeah. He was the sad-faced clown. Yeah.
Just like what we just discussed. His whole entire goal was to make people smile, all ages.
Yeah. But he was a sad-faced clown. Don't you find that ironic? He had a sad face on his... He was like a sad-faced clown, but he tried to make people smile.
It is ironic, isn't it? Again, there's a way to make smile in every situation.
That's a good answer.
That's a really
under
good
the radar answer. No one expected that.
That was really good. That was kind of profound in a way. Well,
came out of the right field there, huh?
I tell you, it sure
Stan
did.
Musial.
Stan Musial's right. Yeah, Stan the man. Well, I tell you what, if you have your bus there, someday, Jamie, we'll come rub it. Okay.
Come rub the head for luck. There we go.
Your head. But maybe you just come in the studio. We could rub your head, right here in person. But then you won't want to come back.
Yeah. Well, probably not. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's always a blast having you on. I mean, because you're so much fun. You pass these great bills through that. And this father one, hey, I think that's one of your best. And I hope that sails through. And it couldn't be a better cause, in my opinion.
Well, if your people out there listening want to see that sail through, they got more questions, get a hold of me at the Capitol. If you want to see it sail through, call your representative. Tell them to co-sponsor it. Call everybody you know. Just call the Capitol. Push it through, guys. Get it through. We want to see this.
Well, Joey and we're on it.
Oh,
so
we're getting a call right now. No, don't call us.
Wait a
Listener,
minute.
please.
No, that said spam on it.
And this show's recorded.
Yeah,
This isn't even live.
I get those a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, who is spam, by the way? I thought that was like a luncheon meat in a can, but I don't know. They call all the time. Yeah.
I think it's from overseas. I don't know.
Overseas, we don't need that. It's no cashew chicken, I'll tell you that. Hey, that's
Yeah,
another
definitely
story.
not cashew chicken.
All right, my friend. Well, it's great having you on. We'll do it again soon, okay?
I look forward to it.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. All right.
Bye-bye.
He's a great guy. And the thing is, I mean, maybe he could move over here because, again, he's from the Ozarks. It's not really in the Lake of the Ozarks. It's south down by Bob Barker's backyard, which I didn't realize that. But, I mean, I didn't know the Ozark was down there. But let's not go on a geography tangent. But wouldn't it be great if he just picked up here and he could be like our rep? And that way he could come over all the time and maybe do legislature for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we want to do. Do you remember, if I didn't edit it out, he sneezed in the middle of that interview.
Several
So
times.
if he could outlaw seasonal allergies, I think a lot of people would just keep voting him in every year.
Well,
Longest serving rep ever.
Well, hey, did you have a great time today? I know I, gosh dang darn did.
This is the most fun I have all day.
Yeah, me
Set
too.
a new record today. Funnest show I've recorded today.
What you notice, like nobody's really heard from Mitch, and that's because he's dressed up like Marcel Marceau. Is today French Day? I said, "Who's Marcel?" And he started acting like he was, blind. He was trying to get out of a glass elevator. Apparently, he's a mime today. I didn't know the band leader could be a mime on the radio with his white face over there. I didn't know, like the way he's got like the white makeup. And I always look over there like I'm seeing him, even though he's invisible. But I mean, did you know that's why we haven't heard from him, because he's a mime?
He was trying to prank us. He was tiptoeing up behind us with one of those prank cream pies
Right.
where the whole
Yes.
pan is filled.
Yes.
He tripped, and it went right into his own face, bit off his tongue.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now he's a mime. He's got the white cream all over his face and no tongue.
And he's acting like he's like blowing in the wind, even though it really is windy. I don't get it, but that's not what we pay our band
Wash
leaders
your
to do.
face off,
Yeah,
Mitch. You
this
look
isn't the
ridiculous.
spot or time or whatever.
You can get
for
canceled for doing white face.
You can, actually.
Wait,
can.
no, you can't.
Well, you know what I always say, don't you?
What do you always say?
If you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. Till next time, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my all-time bestest buddy, Joey V. You've been listening to The Right Mind Show. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to toddsprod.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL and always streaming online at newstalkstl.com.